GSL.
Symbol is now classified as Code S yet again, and now either Keen or Trust will fall to Code B. And the winner, of course, will play against Myung-Sik in our final match to decide the second Code S player.
We have another Terran versus Protoss coming up for Keen. In the first one, he was kind of overwhelmed by the Phoenix choices of Myung-Sik and didn't really find an answer to that. So we're going to see if in game number 2 of the Protoss versus Terran that he's going to play versus Trust, he is going to be able to find an answer for that. And if that's the case, then he has to play in the next match against Myung-Sik again, so he can get revenge here. But it's definitely not going to be easy for him, given that Myung-Sik looked very dominant in the series against him.
Yeah, BCS beat 2 Protosses in a row, including the one that already smacked him down. I think we have to see a totally different style from Keen here. Not Hellions, not early drop play, but maybe just a little bit more standard play, that, like what we've seen already in Heart of the Swamp from most Terran players. And maybe some of the strong bio late game that we've seen from already in his win against Creator. He looked really, really strong.
I mean, for now, it's all about how Trust is going to approach this matchup. This is the first time today that he has to play the Protoss versus Terran. He played earlier against Symbol. And, well, Symbol already advancing to Code S. Pretty impressive performance by him. But, of course, the last map, Daedalus, in favor of Zerg. That's definitely a big point here, and one of the reasons why we have heated balance discussions about the map pool. Now we're going into the first game here at the GSL Code A. Color and Wolf jumping to map number 1 between Keen and Trust.
Keen versus Trust.
Bunker push incoming.
Starting to the bottom right, we have Keen, the team MVP, and he is definitely very eager to change things up a little bit. Gonna go for a very different strategy, going for the proxy here, already moving out with an SCV. Whereas starting to the top left of Heavy Rain, we see his opponent. It is the Protoss player Trust.
Got to get focused here. Needs to find out what's going on early on. And if he doesn't see, like if the bunker finishes, you're basically dead. You got to kill the SCV. And the barracks has started here a little bit later than he would have liked, but it's going to be all right. And on this map, it's tough to actually make a tight wall with your bunker to protect the SCV and the Marines. So if he gets scouted here, it's really easy for Trust to actually just force a cancel and then like make him. He's basically game ends if he does that. But if he doesn't see.
Yep, it's all about how Trust is going to scout now. If he sends out a probe, if he maybe scouts in his own base, this is like the main thing for him to do right now. But for now, he's just taking his gas, and there we go. He scouts it. He moves to the top left, and he sees it immediately. Starts to attack the SCV here that is building the barracks. Nice scouting. Very, very map aware by Trust here. Even sending a second probe in to make sure that he can get the SCV and that he can prevent the barracks from being built.
Keen may type GG. Barracks doesn't complete. He starts a barracks back at home so late. That's that face that you make when your cheese is scouted. I mean, the gateway is done. When the gas is late.
When cheese fails, shake your head once and continue.
This is
that's a bad spot for him to be in.
I mean, I can't even imagine a scenario where he comes back in this game. Like, I can't even fathom it.
Well, he loses a lot of time there, and Trust, of course. I mean, Trust can really try to capitalize on this. A lot of players in the past, when their proxy was scouted, were just trying to go into command center first and gamble a little bit with that. But for now, Keen is really in a bad spot.
Keen is like literally 2 minutes back in time.
Yeah, he sent also the SCV across the map, so that SCV didn't mind in the early stages of the game. Every single SCV is very, very important. Now he starts with the Reaper, and that Reaper is, of course, very, very much delayed, whereas for Trust, everything is just going so well. If you get that early scout off and you see that proxy, you are able to cancel that, you feel great.
Yeah. This is, I mean, Keen hurt his economy so much, cut SCVs, and out of the SCVs he cut, 1 out of 8 of them was across the map, not mining, for so many trips. Then the money he lost from the barracks, and all that time. His barracks is delayed, which then delays his orbital, which then delays his mules. His gas is delayed, so his Reaper's late. By the time the Reaper gets here, the Mothership Core is already going to be out. The Stalker, not far behind.
It is already out.
Yeah.
It's already there, so...
I mean, he's... I mean, Keen is going to try to make something work, but the Mothership Core is like coming towards his base, and it's going to start killing some of his units. That's why he has a bunker going up right now.
Yeah, he gets the bunker in his main base. Here comes the Reaper, trying to get a few kills. Gets one, actually, right off the bat, but the SCV is also suffering and loses his life. Another probe going down, that's probe number 2. And he's still working at the rest of them, trying to get a third. And he gets it. He gets the third one.
He's going to start losing units of his own, though, back at home. Yeah. Having to repair his own SCVs to keep them alive. And he's just trying to get away from that.
That's more mining time lost. That's resources that he has to spend for the repair. Very annoying for him. Tries to get the command center. The first Marines are going to go straight into the bunker. That will at least force the Mothership Core back for now. But it's still really annoying what happens here to him. He's looking at 18 Harvesters against 25 without a second base.
And if he hadn't done so great with that Reaper, we'd be at 29 to 19 right now.
Yeah, that Reaper did a lot more damage than it actually should have. But the Mothership Core wasn't there. He had to wait for the Stalker. But yeah, 3 kills is pretty decent. Lost one SCV in exchange, but now he goes for Blink, the Protoss player that is. His base is done, the second base, of course.
Blink is basically the perfect answer because there's not going to be any stem. There's not going to be any Marauders. If there are any Marauders, there's going to be like 1 Marauder and barely any other units because he spent so much time making the add-on for the Tech Lab. Marauders are expensive when he has no economy. He doesn't have a second CC up, and he's missed so much mule time. And making bunkers is something that he wants to do, but that's even something that he can barely afford. This is going to be, if he holds here, that's how he gets back into the game, but
it's really bad news for him.
Yeah.
He's trying to just recover and stabilize somehow and get into a position where he can really contest the Protoss, but Trust has now all the freedom in the world to do whatever he wants, and that Blink is going to help him so much of putting on aggression. He's already saturating 2 mineral lines. He's not investing into any more probes now. He's just trying to get his units into the battle, getting more Stalkers here for the Blink upgrade, and then put the screws on. Try to pressure Keen as much as he can, force a lift off at the natural, try to get into the main base and snipe a couple of Harvesters. And Keen is still active with that Reaper and trying to kill a few probes on his own.
Yeah, now that Stalker's here, gonna have to blink into the, or pop into the main, jump into the main using that jetpack. It's very annoying here, but look at this. 2 Stalkers in the Mothership Core basically ending Keen. He's gonna be able to use that Time Warp. Blink is almost done, he can start blinking here, and with Time Warp on those Marines, it's so easy for him to just micro with without even blink.
And the bunker doesn't finish, and that's the biggest problem that he has there. That's
GG.
GG. Trust wins game number 1. Cheese failed, and Trust didn't make any mistakes after that. Played it solid and takes the game.
Keen was hoping for mistakes out of his opponent, and there just weren't any. So the scout was huge, though. That's a really important scout, and a lot of Protoss players might have skipped that.
Yeah, but he didn't. He scouted it immediately and was able to kill the SCV before the barracks was done.
This is really, really unfortunate for Keen, who will likely pick Daedalus, actually, as map number 2. But, I mean, being down against such a great Protoss Trust right now in a loser's match, he picks Frost instead. And this is a good choice because Keen is so solid in the late game with his dodging of storms, with his EMPs, with his medevac control, with his drops. I like this choice. This is the map that he beat Creator on recently. And we talked about how, in general, besides that, he's been doing pretty poorly against Protoss. And, I like this choice by him. Let's see how he plays the late game, how he gets there. He may have a specific build plan where he doesn't even go to the late game. Well, that's what I'm assuming that we're going to see here. Just standard bio play. And no risks taken. Just safe, solid macro game out of Keen. He's really good at that, even though he doesn't always show it.
For Keen, it must be really frustrating right now. That's a 3rd game against Protoss that he lost in a row now. So,
yeah, he doesn't want to go 0-4 here and totally drop out of the group without taking a single map. And that would be embarrassing, first of all, but second of all, it of course would knock him back to Code B. He'd have to requalify again. Frost is our map. It's his map choice. Can he tie up the series against Trust from CJ Entis? Or we go into the 3rd game. This is the GSL Code S Champions.